guys, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. Today, guys, we are going to discuss the Twitter. So, first, we will start with the HTML. Then, we have the head, as you guys already know the drill. Then, we have the title. Now, these three are your script links. Now, these are basically your Firebase links. Now, what is Firebase? Let me explain it to you. Now, Firebase is nothing but a database platform which helps you to save your data. Now, since it's the Twitter application, and as I discussed in my previous video, it's a chat-based application where I want my messages to be saved and updated. Hence, we are using a storage unit Firebase for the same. Now this is the Google font link. So guys, you do not need to worry about these three links. I will attach them in the description box for your reference. Now these three are the bootstrap links. Now what is bootstrap? Bootstrap helps us to enhance the UX UI of our web page. UX UI stands for user experience and user interface. Okay, it motivates the user to use your app and thus helps to make your website user friendly. Okay, so bootstrap helps us to give the necessary padding, margin and styling to our components or elements. Now we will start with the CSS. So I have linked the CSS like before ending the head, and I have linked the JavaScript before ending the body. Now why have I done the same with JavaScript? Like why haven't I linked it before ending the head? Well, you can do it. There's no harm in it. But what I want my system to do is, first I want my system to read the whole body data and then move on to the JS. Okay, so now body starts. Now I have given my div a class as container. Container is a bootstrap class. Remember guys, a bootstrap has a class. There is no bootstrap ID. Okay, do not get confused with the same. Now we have button ID logout. Now this is our own ID which I have given. Now class is glyphicon logout btn danger. Now this may look very confusing. I'll explain. Now what are glyphicon icons? So I'll just show you to make it more simple. So where here you can see these are the icons, like the plus icon. So I'll link this website in the description so that you can have a check on it, and you have to write glyphicon heart or glyphicon okay. Now btn danger. Now the first btn, now this btn danger is a bootstrap class. All right. Now these two are separate things, so do not confuse them. Now BTN is used to remove the default styling of the button, and the second one is used to add new styling to the button. And danger gives it a red color. Orange, in order to give it an orange color, you use warning, and for blue you use primary, and for green you'll use success. I'll also put this in the description for your reference. Now on click logout. Now on click I have explained you many a time, but still I'll explain you because it's an important concept. Now when the computer senses an on click event, it will call this logout function. Okay. Now logout is the text, and now we've ended the button tag. Now we have a center tag. Now center helps us to keep our elements to the center. Now these elements I do not want into with center, like the button. I do not want it to be in the center. Hence I've put the center tag after this. You can also give text align is equal to center or float none. There are many options for the same. Okay. Now h1 class is header. Now this is like my class. It is not the bootstrap class. And a superscript, it will help me to put the image a little towards the top. I'll just show it to you. Like you can see the mail icon is a little towards the top. Okay, if I give the sub tag, then it will put it a little towards the bottom. Yes, so I'll just like enter my username abc, and you can see this mail icon is towards the bottom. Now h1 is ended. Now h3 is like I've given it a id user underscore name. Now this I've kept blank. Now what will this h3 do is it will show welcome abc. So for now I've kept it blank. In the JS I will code for the same. Okay. Now div class is form group. Now these two are separate classes. The form group is the bootstrap class which I have used, and this is the class which I have used for designing in CSS. Okay. Now label. So the text is add room and then label also ends. So you can see over here. I'll add room text. Okay. Now input type is text. Now over here we are talking about this text input box. Okay. So input type is equal to text, id is room name. Okay, so basically we are giving it an id as room name for designing purposes. Now class is form control which is used to beautify. Again it's another bootstrap class. Now placeholder hashtag room name. Now as you can see over here it is written the hashtag room name, so it is used to help the user like where they have to type. So it's kind of like an hint. It's kind of like a hint. Okay. Now we'll start with the button tag. Now button class is btn success. As I told you about btn, first btn is to remove the default styling of the button, and second btn is used to add new styling to the button, and success will give a green color. Okay. Now on click, when we are clicking the button, then add room function will be called, which I have coded in the JS, which I have coded in the JS. Now add room is the text and then button also ends. So I'll just show you the button. See, it's this add room button. Okay. Now h3 class color white trending rooms. So basically this h3 will just give me a second. A class color white trending rooms. Yeah. So basically this h3 is representing a this trending rooms thing, and I've given it a white color. Okay. Now I've given a div id output. Now this is used to display these rooms which we are going to code in the JS. So for now, like for the HTML purposes, it will remain blank. When we code it in the JS, then it would have these room names. Okay. Now center ends will also end the div container. And I will end then I will put the script tag, the body tag, and the HTML tag. So this was about HTML. Now let's move to CSS. So now we will start with the dot room name. Now dot room name is a class. So it's the class of this Twitter room.html. In the row, this is the class of the div room underscore name. Okay. So I'll just show it to you on the web page as slide. So basically this whole thing I've given it a class as room underscore name, where the cursor is pointer and font size is 25 pixels. Yes. So now we'll go to style.css. Now logout button. So font size is 20 pixels and float right in order to align it towards the right side. You can also use text align. Now in coding there are many different ways to do the same thing. So you can use whichever way is convenient to you. Okay. So we have given it an align right. If we had given align left, then it would have aligned over here. Okay. You can also give align left. I'll give it, it's aligned towards left. Or if I'm sorry, I mean float left. You can also give float none to make it align towards the center, but that would look pretty weird, isn't it? So I want it aligned towards right only. Now output. Now output is basically, I'll tell you which it is this thing only which we are referring to the output, the ID. So padding is 50 pixels. We are giving it a padding of 50 pixels, a width of 80%, a background of white color, border radius is 15 in order to give a curve to the border. If you If you don't want a border radius, you can keep it 0 or just omit this property. Okay, since I wanted it, so I've given it border radius 15 pixels. Now input div room page. Now this is referring to the label and the text input box. Okay, so basically the width is 70%. You can give width according to your choice. Okay, now we've done with the CSS. This part 3, which you can see, we are going to discuss it in the next video, as it is according to the next HTML page. Okay, so now we'll move on to the JS. Before I explain you the JS code, I will tell you how to sign into Firebase. Okay, so for like how to continue with Firebase. So firstly, you have to sign up to Firebase. If you already have an account, you will sign in. Okay, now you can see add project over here. You just have to click on this icon and have to name your project. So I'm naming it as track. Let's use a camel case. That would be better, right? Track Twitter. So the camel case, the starting letter is small and of a word, and the second letter of the word is capital. Okay. Now we'll click on this continue button. We'll choose default account for Firebase and we'll create project. Now meanwhile it's creating the project, I will explain you the JS code. Now user underscore name is just a variable. You can initialize it with a var. Also, it's not compulsory. Now local storage dot get item. Now in my previous video I explained you guys about what is local storage, but still I'll do a quick recapitulation of the same. Now, local storage is the storage of the computer where this data is stored locally. Like, where I go to Twitter schoolroom and I click on inspect. I right click and I click on inspect. Then I click on application, and over here the username is ABC. So basically, I've stored the username ABC. But now what I want is I also want the room name to be in the local storage, which uh, so now we will get the username from the local storage. So I have taken a variable user underscore name. Now we will use local storage dot get item and the key that we saved. Now in the previous video we discussed about Kwitter.js. So the key was now over there we were setting the item. So it was local storage dot set item user underscore name, and username is just a variable. Okay. So in order to extract this variable, we will use uh, local storage dot get item and the key name, which is user underscore name. As you guys can see over here, it's user underscore name, right? Now we will do document dot get element by id. So document is basically referring to the HTML page. Now we will call the element by its id user underscore name. Okay, so I'll just show you the element for a better clarity. As you can see over here, now user underscore name, this h3 we have kept blank for this reason only. Okay, user underscore name dot inner html is used to set the text, as you guys know, is equal to welcome and plus user underscore name. Okay, so we are concatenating the two terms. The welcome is the text and user underscore name is the user. Now in order for this code snippet to work, I want you guys to put the JS, like link the JS just before ending the body, else the computer will not read this whole thing. What we want is we want the computer to read this whole thing. Hence, the JS should be put before ending the body. Okay. If you don't put the JS before ending the body, then this code may not work. Okay. Now var firebase config. Now how to get this link? So this link we have fetched from the Firebase. Now the firebase thing which we've put on to loading, it must have loaded. Exactly. Now we'll click on continue, and over here we'll click on build, and we'll click on real time database. Okay. Now we have to click on create database. Okay, click on next. Now we will do test mode, and I'll click on enable. Yes. Now guys, you have to click on this rules, and over here you can uh, see here, read is equal to true and write is true. So you just have to copy this true and write. Okay, like this. I'll just show it to you. There shouldn't be double quotes. True. Just delete this comment thing. We don't need it anymore. And this should also be true without any double quotes. And there shouldn't be a comma. I will click on publish. So now we are doing this so that our database does not expire. Okay. So now this is how to create a database. So I've created this database for your sample. So but actually for the Kwitter thing, I'm linking this one. Now we'll click on this gear icon and go to project settings, and then we will click on this web based thing, and you can write the name like track Twitter. Click on register app. Now scroll a little down, and you have to now copy this firebase config. Till here you have to copy. Okay. Now, so now you will put a var like this, and you will have to delete this const thing. Okay. So this is how you will get this link. Yes. Now uh, this thing actually, these three lines are pretty confusing, and you guys may get confused with it, so I'm leaving these and we'll start directly with console.log. But before that, I want you to explain basically the structure of the database. This is actually my original Twitter. Now this is basically the root folder or the main folder. So we write a slash and then the root folder. Okay. Now these three, now these few are the subfolders. Okay. Now these folders will have separate subfolders. About this we will be discussing in the next video lesson. Now we are giving it a purpose adding rule. So this was about the database. Let's move on to the next. Now console.log Anmol. So this I have given just for debugging purposes. You may ignore it. Okay. I'll just now this is console.log room name plus room names. So this room names variable is just storing these room names. Okay, like live streaming room, snap room, etc., etc. Okay. Now whenever a room is being created, it will be stored. Uh, Whenever a room is being created, it will be stored. It will be stored in the database. Okay, like this. And now we also want it to be displayed on the web page. So how are we going to achieve it is we are going to make a variable rule. Now we are giving double quotes as we are coding HTML inside JS only. So div class is room underscore name, id is, now we've ended the double quotes since IDs cannot be since it's a variable, isn't it? So we generally don't So we do not put variables under double quotes. Hence, we are using a plus. Now we've ended this double quote thing right here, and we are using a plus to concat the two. Okay, and then double quotes will start from here. Now on click, when we click on this on a particular room name, then it will redirect to room name, and this dot id is the parameter which is referring to the room name. Like live streaming room, the id of the room name will be live streaming only, and the parameter of the function redirect to room name will also be live streaming. So we are giving id as room names, as ids have to be unique. Okay, now hashtag. So now we can omit this hashtag, and we will just end this text thing with a double quote. Now we will write plus and room underscore names. Okay, plus, and then div and hr we are going to end. Now we what are we going to do is document dot get element by id output dot inner html. So now what I want is, like, I'll explain it to you in a better way. Let's say my first room is study, which I've created. Let's say if I do not give it for an instance, I'll just comment it is equal to row. If I do, so first it will print study. I'll show you the output over here. First it will print study, then it will replace study, and then it will print code. But what I want is, I want the computer to keep the previous room name, and along with it add the new room names. Okay. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to do document.getElement by id is equal to the previous value plus row. Or in order to shorten it, you can write document.getElement by id plus equal to row. Okay, both mean the same. So I'll remove the double quotes for your reference. I mean, I will remove the double slash. Now we've ended this whole thing. Now get data. Now you all must be thinking that why are we making this get data a recursive function? Now recursive function is a function which keeps on repeating itself. It does not stop. Now why I want it to be a recursive function, as I want the computer to continuously get the data. Okay. Now we will be coding for redirect to room name. Now this dot id is the parameter. So name. So basically these three are the same. Room name, this dot id, and name. So if the room name is live streaming, so id will also be live streaming. The parameter over here is also live stream, and name is also live stream. Okay. Now local storage dot set item room underscore name comma name. Okay. So we want the local storage to set the item. Okay. Like when we click on the room, the local storage is setting the item room underscore name, which is your key, and name is basically the parameter, like the room name. Okay. Now window dot location Kwitter underscore page dot html. So now we are navigating to this page. Now this page we are going to discuss in the next video. Okay. The function add room. Now I'll just click on the back button. So now let's say if I add a room, okay, let's see which room I haven't did. Let's say if we add a room, coding, fine, and I click on add room. So basically room name is a variable. It equals to document dot get element by id room name dot value. So over here, as you guys can see, the id of the text input is room underscore name. Okay. So we are extracting the room underscore name. This console.log is just for debugging purpose. And we are printing this room name over here on the console. As you can see, I'll just open the console for you people. We are printing the room names, okay, on the console like room, snap room, A, etc. etc. Okay. Now local storage dot set item room name, comma, room name. So now we are setting these items in the local storage as well under the key room underscore name is equal to room name. As you can see over here, application, you can see the room name live streaming. Okay. And now we will do file. So basically, the local storage is storing the room name on two conditions. First, when we are clicking and navigating to the room, and second, when the room is being created, when the room is being created. Okay. Now we will go to firebase.database. Firebase is the application. In it we have database function. Ref now slash is the root folder. Okay. Now in the main folder we have a child, which is room name, which is the subfolder, and inside the subfolder we want to update. Now the purpose is adding room, as you guys can see over here. Just ignore these texts for a while. We will be discussing in the next video. So purpose is adding room. You can give any other purpose you want. Now window dot location, and we will navigate to Twitter page dot html. Okay. Like as I was saying, if I create this room coding, then I will navigate to this page, and along with that it will be stored in the local storage. Now for function logout. Now what will this logout function do is local storage dot remove item. So it will remove the username, it will remove the room name, and we will navigate to index.html. So this was about the JavaScript. I hope you liked my video. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel and share this video with all the other coders. Until then, bye bye.